Thank you, Unity Ensemble. And Mitch, thank you for running the soundboard. And all of you for showing up with your light and being a vibration in this church and in this community. Today's lesson is the story of Mary and Martha. And I thought it was really interesting. Somebody said that they texted me and they said they were really looking forward to hearing about this story because, we don't talk about women too much. Women are talked about in the Bible, but sermon wise, I thought that was a very good point. So I'm going to make it a point to find more stories about women in the Bible because we're pretty incredible, aren't we? We're pretty powerful. We're just as powerful as a guy. Might be in different ways, but we're still powerful, right? Okay. So I want to first of all read you the story of Mary and Martha. It's quite an interesting one because it made me realize um, how much I do. And let me just share it with you. As Jesus and his disciple, oh, this is from Luke chapter 10, 38. As Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. And she had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet, listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparation that had to be made. She came to him and asked, Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me. Doesn't that sound like a victim mentality? Poor me mentality? Yeah. And Jesus responds, Martha, Martha, the Lord answered, you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Remember, he says only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. Interesting, isn't it? Well, Mary and Martha and Lazarus, they were brothers and sisters, okay? And just to give you a little background, Martha was the older of the sister, and, a lot in our society, a lot of the older child get really, they're given much more responsibility because they're the oldest one out of the family. But Mary's mentality, her consciousness was she worried about the details. Here she had Jesus in her home. And she was known to be a very hospitable person. She would feed people and people would gather at her home. And she wished to please and to do the right thing. And often she succeeded in making everyone around her uncomfortable. Because why? She was too much of a doer. And now she wants her sister to help out, where Mary chose to listen to the master, to listen to Jesus, the rabbi. Now, if Jesus came to your house, what would you do? What would you do? Go a little crazy? Oh my God, what am I going to feed him? Oh my God. Just grab a bottle of water. I'm sure the dude would be happy. Don't you? Yeah. And listen to what he had to say. Martha offers several profound lessons here. We have to prioritize what we're going to do in life, what we're going to do in our day. Martha was distracted by serving. And you know what? My mom was a Martha. She was always worried about feeding people, taking care of people, and, making sure everything was right. But my mom was also a Mary. Because my mom would go to church every single morning for 7 a.m. Mass. She had a devotion. Mary in the Bible here. Where's your devotion, folks, in the morning? Is it with your to-do list? Or do you start your day out with God? Do you fill yourself up with spiritual nourishment to move forward in the day? Do you stop throughout the day to feed yourself spiritually? Do you take moments to acknowledge the power and the presence of God in your life? Also, Martha was comparing and began to feel resentful. And sometimes when we do too much for other people, don't we get a sense of resentment working? Well, why aren't they doing it? You know, almost every other day, and it's something I'm working on, okay? I get resentful emptying out the dishwasher every day. It's a simple thing. There's 2 other people and 2 dogs in the house. Don't you think one of the 4 could empty out the dishwasher outside of me? So then I say to myself, Patty, you're doing this in resentment. You must do this in love. So now I'm starting to bless the plates and practicing the presence of God with the silverware. You know, because is it not God? And it's a little time of devotion for me to increase my awareness of the presence of God. And Martha's frustration led her to complain to Jesus, asking him to tell Mary to help. Comparison can quickly steal the joy from service. If you cannot do things with love and a grateful heart, why are you doing it? Everything we do in life is supposed to bring us joy. And if it's not, we need to let go and try something different. We need to change our thought patterns. And leaving us filled with resentment and feeling unappreciated. And how many of us feel unappreciated for the things that we do for other people, and maybe, you know, they're not giving back the same way that we're giving to them? There's a lot of lessons here from Martha. And, you know, when we compare ourselves to other people, you know, we're not in a race. We're on a journey here in life. And we should be doing things of love. Everything should be done in love. And I know it's hard. It can be challenging, especially when we don't want to. In my house, somebody asks me to do something. You know what my immediate answer is? No. No, I'm not going to do that. And then they ask me, why do you always say no? I go, because I really have to think about it before I give a good yes to it. Because I really do want to do it in love. I really do want to do it with the right mentality. I want to do it with grace. So I figured the word no keeps me safe until I figure it out. I know I'm not the only one that does that in this room. And you know what? We have to be honest with our emotions to God. It's very important. How many times, you know, have you felt frustrated and just so angry you could spit nails? I remember when I first got sober, and I was a bartender. I know. I got sober behind a bar first 2 years. And I just remember I was feeling so frustrated and so aggravated. And I felt like I was going to pour myself a drink. And do you know what I did? Instead of pouring that drink, I went into the women's bathroom and got down on my knees and said, God, I need your help. That was a mini devotion time. I need your help, God. I need for you to have this feeling pass through me because I choose not to drink today. And today is not over with, and I need your help. So, are you a Martha or are you a Mary? I think, we fluctuate back and forth. I really do. Hospitality is a gift. Are we getting things ready with resentment? Are we feeling that we have to do this for the other person? Jesus didn't come in and say, yo, Martha, get dinner on the table. There's a lot of partners in life that say that to their spouses or their partner. Is dinner ready yet? No, he didn't. He came in to feed the crowd that was there, the guests that were there, spiritual nourishment first. That's why we come to church. That's why we watch videos on God, on our Sunday services, because we want to be fed spiritually. Because when we're not fed spiritually, we feel empty. A lot of negative feelings come up. But yet, Martha was very bold. And after this correction that Jesus gave her, later on in the Bible, her brother dies. Jesus asked her to choose right, did he not? So obviously to me, I thought, oh my God, she must have practiced what Jesus said. So let me read you a little bit of that story from the book of John, chapter 11, starting with verse 17. On his arrival, Jesus found that Lazarus has already been in the tomb for 4 days. Now Bethany was less than 2 miles from Jerusalem, and many Jews had come to Martha and Mary to comfort them in the loss of their brother. When Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went out to meet him, but Mary stayed at home. Lord, Martha said to Jesus, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But I know that even now God will give you whatever you ask. She still has faith in Jesus that the right thing will be done. Jesus said to her, your brother will rise again. Martha answered, I know he will rise again in the resurrection on the last day. Now she's thinking further out. She's really not thinking about right now. But she comes to say to Jesus, and this is one of the most powerful verses in the Bible. It's rated as one of the number 1 verses in the Bible. She said, yes, Lord. Jesus said to her, let me back up a bit. I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die. And whoever lives by believing in me will never die. Do you believe this? He's talking to Martha. And she responds to him, yes, Lord, she replied. I believe you are the Messiah, the Son of God, who has come into this world. After she had said this, she went back and called her sister Mary aside. The teacher is here, she said, and is asking for you. When Mary heard this, she got up quickly. See how they work together? The devotion and the doer? Now Jesus has not yet entered the village, but there was a place where Martha had met him. And it goes on. But she still had faith. So I'm thinking between Luke 10 and John 11, there was a lot of reflection for Martha, don't you think? She took what Jesus said and took it to heart and probably prayed and meditated on it and asked God to help her be someone that would be more in devotion than in doing. You know, through the time that I had my hip surgery and my reflection, my 2 week vacation, which I wasn't here for 3 weeks, but it fell on the first Sunday. But I had a lot of time to reflect. You know, I believe things like this happen in our life, like, you know, hip surgery, shoulder or knee or whatever. It is to slow us down. It is time for us to reflect on our lives. It is time for us to devote more time to God. Even when we get sick with the flu or the cold, maybe it's 3, 4 days, but it's time to reflect on our soul. It's time for us to devote more time to God. It's time for us to recognize more of the Spirit of God inside of us. And I ask myself, why do I feel like I always have to be to do? And I was sort of raised that way. First of all, I had to find out where the core belief came from. I was raised Polish Sicilian family. You did not sit down for a long period of time, maybe 2, 3 minutes to, you know, have a glass of milk or a glass of water or soda. But we were taught, don't waste your time. Do something. So I think a lot of our society today has gotten in today our society has a really big do-do list. Do this, do that. Did we get this checked off the list today? Do I have to roll it over to tomorrow? Do I have to roll it over till next week? When do we stop? Or better yet, when does God stop you or the universe stops you and says, hey, look at yourself? Sometimes they're very brief moments. Now, you might not think this doesn't have anything to do with the sermon, but I'm going to tell you something. I think it does, because it happened to me. Did you know I am a turtle rescuer? I am a turtle. There's one thing that really upsets my soul, and that is to see a smushed turtle on the road. So anytime I see a turtle trying to get across the road, I have a huge blanket. I'm not blanket, it's a rug, because they're snapping turtles, and I pull over, throw the rug on the turtle, and, you know, they're trying to get me, but I tell them, no, God's in charge here. You are not in charge, and I am not in charge. I'm just doing what God told me to do. And I will take the turtle and put it somewhere safe. And then I will take a moment of devotion. You want to call it devotion? I will take a God moment. And eyeball to eyeball with their turtles, I talk to them. You are so important to our system, to Mother Nature. We need you. I do not want you to cross the street. Now you need to turn around and go the opposite way towards the water. And I'll just sit there and be with the turtle. And then I will begin to say, I am the turtle. I am the turtle. The turtle is me. If we are one with everybody, if I am stopped because I see a turtle that needs to be rescued because it's in the middle of the street, and I don't care how many cars are behind me, I park my car right in front of that turtle to make sure it does not get harmed. To me, that's my act of unconditional service. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? That turtle gave me an opportunity to be grateful. It gave me an opportunity to say, hey, thank you, turtle, for taking care of Mother Earth. You know, they take care of Mother Earth. Let's face the facts. You think, oh, it's a stupid turtle. No. It's not. It gives me a moment in time to have a moment of devotion with that turtle and God, to recognize the presence of God. And every time I take a picture of him and I send him to Sierra. Saved another turtle today. You know, that's what I like to do. So what's your, I always, in the beginning, in the morning, I ask God, God, show me what I need to do. God, show me where you want me to be. God, what is it that you want me to do? Inspire me. Make me be in the right place at the right time. And if you think about it, Mary and Martha are different levels of consciousness. And we move through different levels of consciousness throughout the day. Just like all the biblical characters in the Bible are different levels of consciousness that we move through. Martha also represents the active life. She embodies hospitality, generosity, and the spirit of service. But are we doing the spirit of service with a good attitude? And the danger of distraction. Now there's a key. What is your distraction? I have to ask myself, why am I really doing this? Am I doing it just because I need to be doing something? Then I came to the realization over these last few months that me doing nothing is doing something. Me doing nothing is me doing something, and it's me being. We are spiritual beings, and we need to practice being a spiritual being. When our angel wings need to be out and we need to be fluttering around, we will know it. Do we do things because we just feel obligated? No, we have to do it with love because we want to, And her counterpart, Mary, represents contemplation, stillness, and learning at the feet of the teacher. Jesus' gentle correction to Martha is an invitation to shift from the stress of constant doing to the nourishment of simply being. Simply being. Jesus gently corrected Martha. We need to gently correct ourselves. Oh, there I go again, Put the dishes away with love, Patty. Make sense? It's a simple thing. It's a simple task, The more that we have prepared, the more prayed up. We used to say this all the time at one of my other. When we're prayed up, then we are capable of handling whatever comes our way. But just doing devotion time in the morning is not good enough, I don't think. I think we have to do devotion times throughout the day to build that consciousness. Because how much of that consciousness do we really need to get rid of that is not of God? Martha and Mary are two powerful women. And Martha shows us the deep faith that she ends up having. You are the Messiah. You are the Son of God. She recognized him because she took time to be in the stillness. She took time to read the Bible or Torah. She took time to just be silent. Both of these women are incredible. And all of us, I think, can relate to her. And Jesus in this story, he stands for spiritual understanding of truth. So when you sit with Jesus, you're looking for spiritual understanding of truth. How can I apply this in my life? How can I be more of this, God? Martha and Mary stand for two aspects of our intuitive and feeling nature, where Martha stands for the aspect of our feeling nature filled with concern for doing of things properly in the outer life. I remember I had this woman who would do my resume way back when, and her name was Christine. And you'd always go in her back office, enter in the back office, and one day I had to use her restroom, and she said, "Oh, excuse my house. It's dirty. It's crowded." I said, "Well, that's okay." She says, "You know what I want?" She goes, "I want to tell you what I believe in. That it's more important for me to be with my children and do things with them and enjoy their presence as they're growing up than I believe in cleaning house." And I wasn't the only one she said that to, so I knew it was true. To be in the presence of children. Remember, Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things. One thing is needful. Mary has chosen the good portion, which shall not be taken away from her. And all that time you do spend in the silence and reflection and reading and studying and just being can never be taken away from you. Because when we die, that's the only thing we take with us is our consciousness. It's beautiful spring, summer days. Enjoy them. Feel the nature. Be part of the nature. Talk to God. Listen to God. And all of God's people say, amen. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. It's so good to be back.